Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to my channel, News Jester. My name is Junior. So we are going to go ahead and review the Dark Trooper. This is Star Wars 1/6 scale from Hot Toys. Um, I got this at a really good deal, as I said earlier in my unboxing hot toy buys, and it's $115. $115 for a Hot Toy 1/6 scale figure, or any kind of franchise or IP is freaking cheap. Freaking cheap. Because I don't know exactly how much this went for, but I imagine it to be at least $250. And I just cannot believe I got it at almost more than 50% off. All right, so I did check with my usual place, Big Bad Toy Store. It was originally at $275. It's currently on sale, I guess, on their website for $252, and I got it for $115. That's shipped and tax included already. So that is an amazing deal. Even though I wasn't really looking for this one at the time that I'm looking for around Hot Toys deals, I was looking for troopers, specifically stormtroopers or any kind of troopers in the Star Wars universe. So I'm not particularly looking for the Dark Trooper in the Mandalorian version, and I didn't want to get any kind of robots or stuff like that in this area at all. So I had to think carefully, because $100, even though it's cheap at $100, it's still $100, and that kind of stuff adds up, you know. So it comes with batteries, so I guess it lights up, and then it comes with these hands that are in these trays. Now the hands, from what I've seen, are not posable, so they're basically, these are the hands you're getting. But look, this is going to be hard to show off because it's all just a black color. There's no definition, or there's no other paint jobs on these. Maybe the silver you can see in the rings, but that's basically it. It's just close-fisted hands. I think this is the trigger hand, and then a relaxed hand. So we'll put that aside for now. And let me just do a really quick show off on this gun or rifle. When I was looking at this on the Black series, or even in the 3.75 series, I really didn't like this gun because it seems so massive, and it's basically being held here only. I kind of wish there was something in here to hold off to, but I guess as a robot he doesn't really care that he has this massive gun with a lot of weight at the very end over there. But as you can see, again, with Hot Toys, there's really not a problem when it comes to paint application with Hot Toys. You can see some nice weathering going on over here and over there as well. They don't go cheap when a certain paint application has to be done. Like if there's multiple colors, they'll do it. They'll go for as much as accuracy as they usually do, which is kind of weird. That is an issue in some of their toys, but yeah, for this one there's no problems whatsoever. It's nice wash and everything. Very basic though. And so we're basically into the figure itself. Now this is bigger than a usual Hot Toys. In fact, let me just do a really quick, this is over 13 inches tall, so definitely bigger than the usual person. It's hefty. I believe from what Justin from Justin's collection said, they're actually die-cast materials here, specifically here on the joints is where the die-cast lives. And honestly, I don't really care about die-cast. Even on my Hot Toys, because they only put like maybe 35-50, if we're lucky, 50% on these die cast things. But That's not enough die cast for me. For me, a die cast toy has to be at least 85%. So I don't really care if they had die cast in this one or not, but it does give it a little bit of a weight. And from what I've heard, there wasn't any mention that this was going to have die cast pieces anyway, so it's an interesting surprise. So really, like, so the head, there it is, the headpiece. See, I mean, like when it comes to these droids, I'm not interested in getting droids for the 1/6 scale Hot Toys figures. I really don't. Um, I wanted troops because you droids you need to have multiples of it, and with Hot Toys it's just too expensive. The reason why I have so many troopers on my Hot Toys is because I'm going through them individually. I wanted to get individual troop designs, not necessarily multiple troop army build. That's where my 3.75 collection lies. As you can see, well, look at that. It goes through the joints. So the way it's built must be, wow, this is really strong ratchet. That is really strong ratchet on the knee. Wow. And it's just friction on the shoulder. Do you see that? The engineering of that one, as it move it up, it actually moves up over here. So that's pretty cool design. So this is not hampering that, and this is not hampering the movement. So it looks like this is attached. There's you don't see it, but there's an actual joint in there on how it's being done. So I'm assuming that, yeah, you just move it up like that. I gotta be careful when I'm handling Hot Toys because it is pricey. I'm not necessarily gonna be as careful with this one because it's only $100, only $100. But man, that is some strong ratchet joints over there. So it's not a bicep rotation, more like an elbow rotation here. I don't like how stiff it is here. That's forcing it to turn there. I didn't even know there was a turn there until it forced it. So it's really stiff. So if I were to do it, man, that is really stiff. This is how I usually, knowing when I usually test out joints, that's how I usually do it. I try to support certain joints. Like I didn't even know there was rotation there until it forced it on that one. But yeah, there is a rotation here that's technically the bicep, and then there's also elbow rotation, which is the stiffer one of the two. That's all friction, 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 and then ratchet up and down, and then friction on the wrist, and friction side to side on the wrist. For the head, look at that. It goes up pretty well. The way they did it, it's a hinge joint and a ball joint at the on there. So looking up is not a problem. Oh, don't these guys fly? I'm surprised it doesn't have any flight accessories. I'm gonna have to look into that again. Maybe I missed it. No, it doesn't. Oh, I almost missed this one. Ah, so there's a clip on the gun. Okay, anyway, and then there's a rotation on the waist, kind of like a mid-strength ratchet on the abdomen over here. You still see some sort of design going on here on the underneath. Because there's no waist skirt in this one, I bet you this goes up pretty well. Oh, look at that. Did you see that? This thing moved up. That's cool. So that allowed it to move a little bit more. And wow, full 90. Because the way they designed the belt, There's really nothing to hinder it. And this thing moving up, that's really cool that they did that. It's actually on some sort of you don't see it, but it is some sort of in a hinge, or not a hinge, but a slot that allows it to go back and forth. So that's pretty cool. This one moves off to the side. That allows you to, interesting. So it won't allow you to kick this way. I think that's basically it. Moving to the side. I'll have to double check on that. And then for the thigh, I don't want to push it any more than that. There is a drop down on the hip joint. I don't see why this would have any problem going back. I think that's it for going back, because this part of the armor is in the way. As I can feel now that the hip drop down joint is becoming a little bit loose just by that much playing. That's all I was been doing so far. There's gotta be, there is a knee rotation that's really stiff. I don't want to push it more than that. There's really no reason to. With this one and then with that one, you're getting a lot of range already, more than you need, I think. And then you can you can see the effort that I have to do bending the knee. The knee only goes up to 90, which is just fine. Again, very strong ratchet joints. I'm just like being careful where I'm supporting these joints, because I don't know, it feels sort of, I don't know. Hot toys, you gotta be careful. So rotation on the ankle, up, it goes as high as that. Down, I'm fairly sure, yeah, very lot of range. There's a toe articulation a little bit, and this one moves out of the way. And I'm assuming there's a rocker, somewhat limited. That's it for the rocker, but it's there. Bottom of the feet, so there's really nowhere to put any kind of flame accessories here when it's flying. That's so I know that there isn't any included. The friction joint feels somewhat loose for my taste. It is heavy though. It's kind of unexpected that it's heavy in that way. I'm gonna go ahead and put this into the arm. So where is this going to? That looks like a clip, so I'm assuming, oh, it goes like this, I bet. Yeah. Okay, so put that saw in here, and we will go ahead and replace this hand. Comes off pretty good. This is look at this. So this is different than the usual ball joint for the hands for Hot Toys. This is basically built into the actual wrist. So this is going to be really sturdy. There should not be any problems with this one breaking off. Should not be, but you know, just be careful always when it comes to Hot Toys. Wow, that is really stiff going in there. But the good thing is, because it's so stiff, with the strength of that elbow joint, you can, look at that, and it should hold that pretty well. See, I don't like the design of this one being so long like that. I don't get that, but that's the way it is. At least with the Hot Toys, it's not as ugly looking. But yeah, let me go ahead and put on the batteries and see why it's got it. Okay, hold on a second. Okay, after After looking at this thorough, in-depth instruction booklet from Hot Toys, one page, I found out where the batteries are kept. At least with this particular instruction, it's actually telling you how what the range is in terms of movement. This is what I was at least kind of looking for in some of the Hot Toys instructions, where they don't even talk about. At least with this one they do, and they're referring to this one again. This one, the movement to the side is not a lot, as you can see. Surprisingly, there's a feature, I guess, here where you can separate the body for some sort of upcoming accessories, which I don't know what that's about. And then this one shows the gun, and it also shows that the gun can be mounted on the side of the thigh. So I'm gonna go ahead and replace the batteries on camera, but it will be sped up, so at least you guys know where it's at and how I do my replacement. All right, so as you can see, I don't have the thinnest of hands, and that's how I always replace my battery. I put in the first two, and then I put in the last one as I squeeze it in the middle between the two, and that's how I do replace the battery. Oh, I forgot to turn it on. The cool thing about this one, at least, it's easy to find the light switch. You just pull that out. Is it going to be strong enough? Wow, that is a bright LED. Look at that. That's pretty cool. Now, I did not put on this one. What does this do? Oh, the middle part. Okay, well, I mean, it's really bright though. So that's kind of nice. You guys can see that, right? I mean, you have to. That is really bright. Um, I'm gonna go ahead and turn that off. I'm never gonna turn that back on. It's a nice gimmick, but like, yeah. And I'll remove the battery later on. I'm really bad with my batteries. I never really remove it. I haven't had any corrosion though, so I've been lucky, I guess. Look at that face though. So I guess if you want to separate it, this is supposed to come off. Yeah. And this is kind of like a pin with this hole, and this will separate it. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to separate it right now. I don't even know what kind of accessory they're thinking of to require that. The only accessory this actually needs for me is like the flame jet trooper thing, and I forgot if this went this way or the other way. I think it went this way. This one was kind of hard to remove though. There's a really good friction going on. I think it's because the shoulder pads are kind of in the way. Yeah. And yeah, so it comes in pretty good like that. And then they said this thing, is it a magnet? Oh, it's a magnet, but it's kind of weak. Well, I guess it serves its purpose. I wish that was a little bit stronger, especially since there's not a lot of contact. This one goes in and out, but I'm afraid that might break off. I guess it's strong enough, but I'm not sure if you can see through the gap. There's really not a lot of contact going on here. I think the magnet is in here somewhere. If you have it like this, then you can't put in the side thing, which apparently I've kind of here. You can't put this on, so you would have to remove it. That's kind of stupid. Should have at least maybe magnetized it on this side. I don't know. And this is, I guess, oh, it goes this way. It must. I'm gonna actually display him with this, with him holding it. It's strong enough, and yeah. Yeah, I'm just gonna display him like in this manner. But yeah, and then I'll show off the base really quickly. There's really nothing interesting in the base. It's just basically that one, this one, and you need to remove this because the way this thing clips on is it clips on in the ridges here. So that's kind of an interesting design, a really nice design, because then you can move it around anywhere you want, honestly. So it gives you a lot of freedom. I'm assuming you wait. It's not as easy as I thought it would be. There you go. And because you're in the top view, you won't appreciate of how it looks standing. Just trust me that it's standing pretty good. Oh, wow, this thing really keeps popping off. No, this popped off someplace. Oh, look at that. Oh my god. All I was doing was having it stand up, and this is basically one of the clips on the belt. As you probably saw, I was just basically standing it up on the stand. I wasn't applying pressure here or anything like that. And this is basically came off on the belt. The problem with this is that I have to glue it and not destroy the fact that this is supposed to go up and down, you know? So it's not broken, it just became unglued here, which is gonna be really, really hard to glue that without destroying the up and down feature of this particular thing. So I gotta be really careful with these two now. Okay, so aside from that, that's just shoddy workmanship and craftsmanship. And I think the reason why is because they painted it first and then they glued it, and the glue wasn't strong enough. Or it wasn't properly applied, because when I'm looking at where the glue stain is, it's off to the side, not to the back, which basically means it's actually glued on to this corner, not to the back. Huh. I wonder why that is. Anyway, so let's talk about value and price. Obviously, my value and pricing is going to be different from the usual value pricing of this item, because I got it at a very, very great price, 115 shipped and taxed already included, compared to the original 275 price range. You can get it now for 254 at Big Bad Toy Store if you want to. The value is around 12. You know what I found out is usually a good buy for me is basically has a value of 12 for me. So this is a good buy, obviously. Is it something that you need to get, something that's wow factor? I'm gonna say not necessarily. I just went ahead and bought it because it was cheap. I didn't think the guy was gonna accept my low bid of 106, to be honest. But he went ahead and took it, so I was like, okay, so I'm stuck with it. But it's still an imposing figure to have in your Hot Toys Star Wars collection. It's just not gonna fit in any of my display. Well, it will, but my displays usually centers around the New Hope uh, um, characters. But I guess 115 dollars, I really can't say no to this. Maybe my brother will buy it from me. I don't know. But anyway, this is still a value of 12 with a base price of 10, which is equal to $115. Um, if you're gonna troop build this, I mean, unless you're rich, I wouldn't spend 275 to troop build this, to be honest. Like, look, look at this. There's at least three here. That means if you want to copy what they're doing like this, that's $700. Um, I don't know, or 775 or $800. I wouldn't do that to get that kind of display presence. But for what I got it for, it's really cheap and it's a good value for what I've got, and I'm pretty happy with it. Aside from the fact that this thing broke off, but it didn't really break off. It just became unglued, which is you kind of expect that with Hot Toys. I've never really been impressed with Hot Toys craftsmanship, honestly. That's why when I try to handle it, I have to be very, very careful with it. So there's a lot. They do a lot of stuff that's like really, really small in terms of connections. Um, so they usually go for display presence rather than and accuracy rather than durability. So you just got to be really, really careful when it comes to Hot Toys. They do a lot of experimentations and all that stuff with their fabric and stuff. And yeah, when I deal with Hot Toys, I deal with them like carefully. Um, that's what I think of. Anyway, that's it for my review of the Dark Trooper 1/6 scale from Hot Toys. What a great deal. What a great find. Thank you to the seller who sold it for me and accepted my offer. Have a nice day and see you later. Bye.